You probably think you have a pretty good handle on how the world works. But what if I told you that most of the systems controlling your daily life are practically invisible? You don't see them. You rarely think about them. That is, until something breaks. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 10 things that quietly control your daily life. Let's get started. Number 10, time zones. We all live by the clock, but time zones aren't natural. They're a human invention, a global agreement. Before they existed, every single city and town kept its own local time based on the sun's position. Imagine the chaos that would cause today. It was the rise of railways in the 19th century that forced our hands. Different local times made train schedules an absolute nightmare. Trains would leave one town at noon and arrive in the next town at, well, what time was it there? It wasn't just confusing. It was dangerous. Missed schedules led to collisions and accidents. So to solve this, time was standardized. Not by some law of nature, but by committees and international coordination. Even now, time zones are surprisingly political. Countries can and do change their time zones for economic or political reasons. China, a country as wide as the continental United States, famously operates on a single time zone. So the next time you check your watch, remember that time is a human construct, a carefully negotiated system that keeps our modern world from crashing. Number 9, credit scores. This is a big one. A single 3-digit number that can wield immense power over your life. This number can determine whether you get a loan for a house or a car, what interest rate you'll pay, and in some cases, it can even affect your chances of getting a job. Think about that. You don't get to sit down and negotiate your credit score. You can't explain the context behind a late payment. The system is designed to record behavior, not reasons. Maybe you are late on a bill because of a medical emergency or a sudden job loss. The score doesn't care about the why. It just sees the what. A single late payment can stick to your report for years, a digital ghost that follows you around. It's an automated judgment system, an algorithm that decides your financial trustworthiness without ever knowing you as a person. It's an invisible force that can open or close doors for you, all based on a cold, calculated number. Number 8, undersea internet cables. Where do you think the internet lives? In the cloud? Up in satellites? The truth is far more physical and, frankly, more vulnerable. Over 95% of all global internet traffic, your emails, your video calls, your bank transactions, everything travels through a vast network of physical cables laid across the ocean floor. These are the real information superhighways. These cables, some no thicker than a garden hose, connect continents, power global markets, and enable military communications. Yet most of us have never seen one. They are marvels of engineering, but they are also incredibly fragile. A ship's anchor dropped in the wrong place, a deep-sea earthquake, or even a curious shark can sever a connection and disrupt communications for millions. Because of their importance, these cables are also strategic assets. Nations are acutely aware of where these cables lie and who has the ability to access or damage them. Our entire digitally connected world depends on these silent, submerged lifelines that most of us completely forget are even there. Number 7, GPS time correction. We use GPS every day to find our way, but its function goes much deeper than just navigation. GPS satellites don't just tell you where you are. They tell you when you are. And this is where things get mind-bending. Thanks to Einstein's theory of relativity, we know that time moves at slightly different speeds, depending on gravity and velocity. The clocks on GPS satellites, orbiting high above the Earth and moving at thousands of miles per hour, actually tick a tiny bit faster than clocks down here on the ground. It's a minuscule difference, just a few microseconds a day. But if we didn't constantly correct for this relativistic effect, the entire GPS system would become useless within hours. Your navigation app, would drift by miles every day. But it's not just about maps. The global financial system relies on the precise time signals from GPS to synchronize transactions. Power grids use it for balancing loads. Modern life, with its demand for incredible precision, depends entirely on these tiny, constant time adjustments that account for the very fabric of space-time being warped. Number 6. The power grid frequency. Every time you flip a switch, you are participating in one of the most complex balancing acts on the planet. The electricity that powers your home has to be generated and consumed in almost perfect real-time balance. The frequency of the grid, which is 60 Hz in North America and 50 Hz in most of Europe, must be kept incredibly stable. If supply the amount of power being generated exceeds demand, the frequency rises. If demand outstrips supply, the frequency drops. Either deviation can be catastrophic. Too much power can overload equipment and cause systems to shut down to protect themselves. Too little power, and you get rolling blackouts. The challenge is that electricity, on a grid scale, cannot be easily stored. It has to be made the instant you need it. Behind the scenes, an army of grid operators are watching these numbers fluctuate second by second, constantly making decisions to bring more power plants online or take them offline to maintain that delicate equilibrium. It's a non-stop, invisible dance that keeps our lights on. Number 5. The shipping container. Look around you. Almost everything you own that you didn't grow or make yourself, your phone, your clothes, your furniture, your coffee mug, probably spent some time inside a simple, standardized metal box. The shipping container. Before the 1950s, loading and unloading a ship was a chaotic, labor-intensive process that could take weeks. Goods of all shapes and sizes were packed by hand. The invention of the standardized container revolutionized global trade. Suddenly, cargo could be packed into a box at a factory, loaded onto a truck, transferred to a train, lifted onto a ship, and then do the reverse at its destination, all without ever being unpacked. This dramatically reduced costs, slashed shipping times, and made global supply chains possible. This simple box reshaped entire cities, moving ports away from city centers to vast industrial areas with room for cranes and container yards. Most people never give them a second thought, but the humble shipping container is the backbone of the modern global economy. Number 4. Bureaucratic rules. This one might feel a little more familiar. Many of the rules, forms, and procedures that govern our lives were written for a world that no longer exists. Think about the classic paper form that needs to be filled out in triplicate, the requirement for an in-person signature, or the strict office hours of a government agency. These systems were designed in an era of paper files and landline phones. Then technology changed everything. We got email, digital signatures, and online portals. Our behavior changed. We expect things to be instant and accessible from anywhere. But often, the old rules stay put. The system doesn't adapt. This creates friction. Work gets slowed down. People invent clever workarounds just to get things done. It's not always because the original rule was bad. It's just old. The system becomes a relic, a ghost of a past era that continues to shape our present, often causing frustration and inefficiency simply because it hasn't caught up with the times. Number 3. Sleep cycles. We tend to think of sleep as just rest or time off, but it's one of the most active and critical processes your body performs. Sleep is not downtime. It's maintenance time. While you're asleep, your brain is incredibly busy. It's like a night crew cleaning up and organizing a busy office. It prunes unnecessary neural connections and strengthens important ones. This all happens without your conscious permission. It's an automatic, essential system. When this system is disrupted, even by an hour or two, your performance drops. Not always dramatically at first, but reliably over time. Your focus wanes, your decision-making suffers, and your mood can become unstable. Sleep isn't a luxury. It's a non-negotiable biological process that quietly dictates your ability to function. Number 2. Maps. The map of the world you probably grew up looking at in school, the Mercator projection, is wrong. Well, not wrong, but distorted. It has to be. You simply cannot represent the surface of a sphere on a flat piece of paper without stretching or squishing something. This is known as the projection problem. Different maps make different choices about what to distort. The Mercator projection is great for navigation because it preserves angles and directions, which is why sailors used it. But it horribly distorts size, especially near the poles. It makes Greenland look as big as Africa, when in reality, Africa is 14 times larger. Other maps, like the Gall-Peters projection, preserve area, showing the true relative size of continents, but they distort shape. Every map is a compromise. It has to choose what to prioritize. Because of this, maps don't just show us the world. They actively shape how we imagine it. The map you use influences your perception of the importance and scale of different places, a quiet yet powerful influence on our global perspective. And finally, number 1, maintenance. This is the ultimate invisible system. Everything works because someone, somewhere, is maintaining it. The roads you drive on, the power lines that bring you electricity, the pipes that deliver clean water, the software that runs your computer. All of it requires constant upkeep. Maintenance is thankless, invisible work. You only notice it when it stops. And failure is rarely a big, dramatic explosion. It's usually a slow, quiet process of neglect. A small crack that isn't repaired. A filter that isn't changed. A software patch that isn't applied. The world doesn't usually collapse from a single moment of chaos. It decays from 1,000 small, ignored acts of maintenance. Most of the real power in the world today doesn't come with a loud announcement or a grand display. It operates silently in the background, keeping things running, until it doesn't. Thanks for watching. If this made you see the world a little differently, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more content that makes you think. See you next time.